I'm always happy to welcome our woody ornamental specialist, Mike Schnelle, to the show. Today we're going to look at some beautiful plants for fall. Well, welcome back to Oklahoma Gardening. I know that you've lined up some wonderful plants for us. Fall's such an interesting time in the garden. We have the foliage color. Sometimes we have fruits. This year we're a little bit struggling on that
Absolutely.
end. So what do you have for us today?
Well, I'm excited about flowering Dogwood Cornus, Florida, native to our state in the eastern part of Oklahoma. And as you can see above us, fantastic fall color despite the summer that we've had.
And I'm impressed with the dogwood. Sometimes they struggle with our heat, but they're doing really well.
And this one's in the right side. You know, it's got afternoon protection from the sun. And you can see, besides the fall color, you have exquisite bark. So literally any given day of the year, you can come out and enjoy this tree, any day of the year.
It gives us some interest in the spring too, with the flowers. And often we'll have a little bit of red berries hanging in. I know the birds like those.
White or pink flowers and then red fruits.
Excellent. So. I couldn't help but notice it's not in full color yet, but behind us, the Oakleaf Hydrangea starting to get some color. And I think of this as a flowering plant, but
yeah, besides the white or whitish pink flowers, you have the oak leaf type leaves, thus the common name Oakleaf Hydrangea. You have great fall color. You have winter interest with the remnants of the flowers, and then you also have the fantastic exfoliating bark.
Yeah.
So like the dogwood, any given day of the year, you're going to have some type of showy event.
Two great plants for bark. Well, let's go see what else is of interest. Well, Mike, this specimen's been catching my eye as I come into the Arboretum each day on the way to work. I just love the Rhus and the color that they provide us. This is a selection, right?
It is. This is actually Cutleaf Sumac, and it's like all the other sumacs in Oklahoma. They're greatly underutilized, and I'm so excited that we have this out in our collections. And viewers can see basically a mature specimen of what this tree or sometimes multi-stem shrub will do. And the fact that it's really not that much of a problem in terms of suckering with this particular selection.
I like that it has this open branching. The structure of it's very interesting.
Yeah, so even when it defoliates here in about 3 or 4 weeks, you're still going to have interesting architecture for winter beauty. You're going to have the fruits. They're going to also provide you some winter interest. So it's a keeper in the plant world.
Now, this is related. We see the species along the roadsides. And bringing a lot of color as you drive maybe from here to Tulsa or down to the city. Yeah,
we have multiple sumac species in Oklahoma. This is just a particular selection that we see more often in cultivation.
Great. So. Another really popular plant for fall color are the maples. Let's go take a look at our sugar maples.
Excellent.
Well, Mike, in the past we've talked about these red maples behind us as a great fall color, but this sugar is also another wonderful source of fall color, and this is a native, right?
It is, yet another native maple for Oklahoma. It sure is. And you can see despite the year that we've encountered, it still took it and went ahead and displayed fantastic fall color. So the best is yet to come as this gains caliper in size. We can count on this great of a show, probably actually a nicer fall color display when we have more moderate temperatures and conditions.
Right. Now this is a straight species, but there's a number of cultivars as well to select
There are a number
from.
of selections. Some of them have a thicker cuticle layer or thicker leaf layer, which would have been great to take advantage of with the hot, dry winds and record high temperatures we had this summer. So, but any way you go, you're going to usually have a great fall display here in Oklahoma.
Well, Mike, having grown up north, this is a plant that I would see a lot of in the fall, and it would just set the landscape ablaze. Well, we have some good fruits to take a look at next, right?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Well, Mike, this vine to me is really interesting. It's kind of a newer one, that I wasn't as familiar with, but I just love these blueberries. What an unusual color.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is one of our also native vines, Ampelopsis or porcelain berry. It's been used off and on for, I don't know, several decades now here in Oklahoma. It's also underutilized, in my opinion, for its sheer will to live given the conditions it's survived the last 12 months. You get fall color, which is still yet to exhibit nicely, maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks. You have the beautiful fruits that we're looking at now, the turquoise colored fruits, which are exquisite. I really can't think of a colored fruit like that comparable here in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and then you have a tough vine to cover up any arbor in a quick fashion. So it's a very reliable and useful shrub.
Okay.
Vine.
Another really reliable plant for berries is the beautyberry.
Yeah, our beautyberry this year has just done spectacularly well. Great fruit, unblemished foliage. Even when the foliage falls, you'll have fruits at least until the winter holidays, if not into early 2012. I'm very impressed with the way it's performed despite record heat and drought.
Absolutely. Mike, tell me about this buttonbush that you've planted here in the sensory garden.
Well, I'm excited about buttonbush. I've been watching it for the last 30 years. It's native to our state, probably every county of Oklahoma. In the wild, you see it down by ponds and lakes and streams, but it does really well when you bring it into cultivation. Just under normally irrigated landscapes, it'll perform well. Year-round beauty when you couple the flowers that bloom all summer, but then also what we call the mummies, or the persistent seed heads, into the wintertime, thus the common name buttonbush. About an 8 to 10 foot shrub that really needs very little human intervention to look or shine in the Oklahoma landscape.
Well, Mike, I like to see the use of native plants in the landscape, and here we have another native. This is Aronia.
Yeah, red chokecherry.
And on this one of the things when we use natives, we get this wildlife attraction. On this one, it's the berries, but the buttonbush also attracts wildlife. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, the Cephalanthus, or the buttonbush, actually attracts butterflies and bees, and yes, absolutely.
Well, Aronia was Oklahoma proven plant.
Okay.
Does really well, very tolerant, I think of. What are some of the attributes that you find really attractive?
Well, year-round beauties, you can see the lovely fruits right now. In fact, some people in Europe particularly make Aronia wine out of these, or eat them fresh on their cereal, high in antioxidant value. Fall color most years. This year it just got transplanted, so thus it's had a little bit of fall color failure, so to speak, but next year it'll be a bright red. And then you'll have persistent fruits that will go ahead and mummify and turn black this winter, but something to look at. And the next spring you have lightly scented white to whitish pink flowers, and the cycle starts over. And you have blemish-free foliage then until it reddens up come about October of 2012.
I think that's one of the great things when we're looking for plants in the landscape, is to have those different seasons, the flowers and the fruits, to give a little bit of interest to your lawn.
There's life beyond summertime.
Absolutely.
Sure. So.
Well, we have one last native I want to take a look at, and that's over in our orchard.
Okay.
Well, Mike, the other natives we looked at feed the wildlife, but what I like about this one is that it feeds us.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is our native Paw Paw triloba, native to several counties of Oklahoma, and then certainly east of Oklahoma. It's an understory plant in the wild, but as you can see here, you can also pull it off in full sun with a little bit of human intervention, i.e. irrigation. Year-round beauty when you couple the yellow fall color, the edible fruits, which are the envy from the rest of the world. The Asians and other peoples have tried to replicate this, but with no success to date. And because it's so highly perishable, it's hard to ship outside our area. And those kind of success.
We don't see those fruits in the markets either because of that.
You don't see it for a reason.
You want to put it in your landscape.
Sure,
and get those fresh
sure.
fruits. I like the flowers. They have really interesting flowers in the springtime.
Yeah, nodding red flowers that you literally have to get on your knees and look up to appreciate, but they're maybe the size of a thimble or smaller, but they're very showy, very dark, deep red, and very precocious where the plants will start flowering, and then even fruiting by maybe year 3 after you get in the landscape. So this is for everybody to enjoy. Even with the small landscape, you can see they don't get that large.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for sharing this bit of fall beauty with us today.
Thank you, Kim.